Welcome everyone to another episode of the Anthill Chronicles with your host LanceScurv. I have to say that this is a beautiful evening. It's late afternoon, it's getting ready to get dark. The sun is going down, or going down. There are clouds blocking it, so this is going to be a short one. I just want to say that I'm so thankful for the delicious rest that I've been getting, and I hope this video reaches you in the best of health, success, in the natural world, not the engineered world. And what a joy it is to be alive. What a joy it is to be at peace, and what a joy it is to be balanced, right? I find myself more and more having so much more of an appreciation for my parents. Some say I might speak too much about them, but you can never speak too much when you have wonderful parents. And if it wasn't for them, who gave me a head start in life by what they taught me about the world, what they showed me as far as society and those workings and culture, real culture, how to deal with different types of people, especially with the backdrop of New York City, that basically, New York City now and back then, but it was even more pronounced. Any country in the world has a neighborhood in New York City. I don't care if the neighborhood was 2 blocks, 3 or 4 blocks, but every country in the world has a neighborhood in America. Every country, culture in the world had someone in my school who was there from countries that were hard to pronounce, faraway lands, customs and different things that we learned at that particular time with the school system that was public. That, yes, they had people teaching us, some of them who didn't look like us and didn't have all the way right intentions, but the neighborhood, the community as a whole, we looked out for each other. And I have to throw back on that right now. Many today don't have that. Many back then didn't have that, depending on where they grew up. But to have parents like I have, and I say it in the present tense because those are our ancestors, or my ancestors, right? I don't have to look up in the sky and say ancestors and I'm reaching for some ghostly figure that I don't know, right? And they taught me about their parents and trickled down what they found out from their grandparents' parents. So I know. So there's a spiritual momentum when you're in line this way and you're in touch with way, not because you're thinking some hocus pocus stuff and talking some talk, but when you know. I know the hand that handed me the baton in this race that I continue on in their absence physically, but they're on the sidelines and cheering, you know? And my thing is, this is the only way I can explain the happenings in my life, all my life, and especially as of recent. I've spoken it before. Do you remember the show Get Smart from the 70s? Maxwell Smart was some agent, and it was control, it was some government thing, and it was a comedy, but it was kind of like dry. You had to know it was a comedy, but it was straight up a comedy. Not to even go more into detail, back in the 60s and 70s, they stopped this thing called laugh tracks. And if something was a comedy, there might not have been an audience, but they used to put in laughter. That became illegal, or something that they ruled out because it was artificial in a sense. So they would do shows in front of a live audience so they can get the real laugh, like Saturday Night Live and everything. But I think they had a laugh track on that show, but it was a comedy. But in the beginning credits, and I'll try to remember to put the link down on the introduction of Get Smart, he would drive up in this drop top, looked like some kind of small Italian vehicle, jump out the car and run into this building. And when he went into the building, it was a long hallway. And you know, the song was, dun, 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 and he's walking, and there were all these doors, different looking doors. And every time he walked up to a door, right, the door just opened. He didn't have to put his hand out. The way he walked, he knew those doors were going to open. So he must have been through at least 8, 9, 10 doors. And he's walking, and boom, and it would close behind him. The other ones would open and close behind him. Now, those of you who grew up in New York City, you know, what is it, 3rd Avenue? I believe it's 3rd Avenue, that when you go up 3rd Avenue, you come down from below 14th Street, Union Square, and if you time the lights right, you can damn near get all the way up to Harlem without stopping. You can go that whole way, and as you go, the lights open up, and you have to go a certain speed. You go too fast, you'll meet those next few set of red lights. If you go too slow, the red lights will catch you. So you have to time everything right? Same thing, but you know this is going to happen. You're riding like, wow, this is crazy. I don't have to stop for these lights. Well, the same thing on Get Smart. He's walking through, he went to this phone booth, and it drops down to this little tunnel or something where he goes into the secret place of this agency called Control. What I'm saying is this: when you're right on time, the doors will open. The lights will open up for you. Your ancestors, immediately who you know, will help you. But we have to know, like we said before, that all ancestors aren't good ancestors. But then again, if we break the chain of command of what we call ancestors, but you don't treat your own mother and father properly, or settle what it is that you have disconnected the circuit. Because all that talk sounds good, but many of us make decisions with the hocus pocus ancestors that we're not connected to, and our lives just crumble down into nothingness. You know, you have electricity, you have wires, you have circuits. If the circuit is broken, as when it happens when you throw the switch to cut the light off, the circuit is broken. When you cut the light on, the circuit is connected and the lights come on. Many of us are acting as though we're walking in the light, but we're really walking in darkness because of a disconnected circuit to our ancestors and to nature and to the Creator, right? So this is why I'm so thankful to my immediate ancestors who I have been raised by. They're not here physically, but they're very much here making sure those doors open. They're very much here making sure that those lights open up. Like when I used to drive up 3rd Avenue, my father and I would be driving up 3rd Avenue. He taught me that trick, and long after he transitioned, I'm doing the same thing. So with the lessons in life that they taught me, I still follow through because they taught me right? Now, none of us are perfect. So some of us will sometimes go over the double yellow line. But the bottom line is, we could always correct ourselves, but we must correct ourselves even severely. If we severely turn the wheel so much, we got to correct it. So I thank them for not allowing me to go too far off, because they were so honorable in how they raised me. And because of that, it has given me the ability to really see what's around me. There were people recently in a conversation, won't mention the names, but they say, Lance, it's almost like you always land on your feet. I said, listen, let's get one thing straight. That's not because I'm so good. It's because I'm aware of the signs that are showed to me, sometimes in a very mysterious way. But I see them, and I heed them, and I know what they are. To know when to proceed forward, to know when to back up, to know when to stop, to know when to disappear and fly under the radar. All the while, your progress is happening. And when you line up and listen to what is happening around you and the divine signs that are coming your way, you'll always reach the destination. There may be many roads as there are to one destination. And you'll have those who try hard to get in the road that they just feel that you're coming down. And they're blocking that road. They work hard to make sure that you're not going to get past that road until you deal with them, because they are the power and they're the ones who are supposed to be over you. But it's funny when you take the high road or an alternative route and you look down, you say, man, look at them fools down there thinking they're stopping the progress of what I have going on in my life. And they're waiting, looking at their watch. I thought that the roadblocks I put down there would stop them. And they radio down to the people who are on their team. Did you see them? No, we didn't see him. And then they realize that you're fast asleep at your destination after a good meal, and they're out there working hard to stop you. Let me just tell you something. Whether you had great parents to raise you or not, who have done great works that are documented, not some little, and I'm not saying rank and file in the oppressive system. I'm saying on the level of being a servant. When you have great parents like that, even if sometimes you mess up, their grace covers you. You understand? Because when you are destined for something great, and I don't mean great to have your name up in the lights, but when you are destined to be in a position to do something great for your people, the community, and the society who are righteous, that's a righteous momentum that is beyond you and your personal life, and you have to know you're going to be the winner in the end. So as I walk through this life and I move through this life and the doors open, I expect them to open right now. It's not a cockiness, because I know I'm in that momentum. I know that all that came before me can't fail, because all that came before me in my bloodline, the purpose was to have me here. And this is what I want you to know, that if you're on a righteous path, not the devious path where you speak righteousness and hate your fellow man, or you speak righteousness and you can't stand your parents, or you speak righteousness and you have hate in your heart, not focusing on the improvement of you, but you have hate in your heart because he got no right to make that progress. How is he getting this money? How is he being able to do this? How is he still standing? He ain't miss a beat in what he did. What is he doing? He's supposed to have fallen and gotten discouraged a long time ago, because I have the force and the spiritual momentum behind me. I can't stop what I'm doing. You know, you get into a vehicle, you get on the highway, right? You go up, you don't think there's any police around. All of them went that way because evidently you saw 10 cop cars, 15 cop cars go this way because something happened. So most likely they're not on the road. I remember one time I was driving my Lincoln Town car. It was back in 1998. Beautiful vehicle. Nice moon roof and the air suspension. It's a black vehicle. It's so nice. And I was driving to Philadelphia and I picked it. I said, listen, all them cop cars went down. Ain't nobody around. I think I brought up to like almost 110, 120. But even then, I didn't feel it. It was like there was no, the highway was smooth, but at one point just locked in. It was like I was flying, like I was on a magic carpet. But when I took my foot off of, right, the gas, I didn't stop right away because the vehicle had momentum. So we have to understand that with those who came before us, if they were righteous people and you are in that bloodline, not just physically, but spiritually, because there's also a spiritual bloodline. But when you come up in a bloodline that's righteous and you're striving for righteousness, even if you had a decade or two where you were out in the world and didn't know who you are, it would be sad for me to get to over the age of 50 and close to 60 as I am 58 and lose my way and come up with all kind of cockamamie whatever and fall off the path. And that's sad that so many of us fall off the path. As we ascend and get better, we have to know that the higher we go, there's more of a consequence when we fall. Because there's that much distance between you and the ground. There's that much distance between you where you're supposed to be now, or where you claim to be now, and when you hit the ground if you fall. Nobody wants to fall. But usually when we fall, it's because of something that we did as far as a disconnect to our righteous mission and our Creator. And there's bugs that are just loving me, right? I put neem oil all on my legs, but I forgot to put a little bit on my face, and they're going to be chewing me up in a little while, right? But that's the bottom line. Staying connected. And like I've said before, the Creator and nature, they never turn on you, right? When we bring these things on ourselves as far as bad situations, it's not they who turned on us. It's us who got out of practice to remain in connection to creation and our God, our creator, whatever you want to call it, because people fight over words. Well, if you say God, that means it's a European also. Look, I don't know what ancient name to call, right? I don't know what to say that way. Maybe there's a name I don't know, and we are so well versed in these different things, and back in the Kemetic this and this and that. Okay, that's beautiful. But what is it doing for your spirit? What is it doing for your life force? You dictate, you say different things and can read off all this stuff, but what is it doing? What is the charge inside of you? Is it negative or is it positive? Don't tell me neutral. In the spiritual world, there is nothing neutral. What book did you read that of? I didn't read that, but I know it. You're either this or you're either that. Either or. It was a funny analogy that I used last night in my conversation. And these bugs, they think I'm the sweetest person in the world. I said, listen, you take two gay men who are 60 years old. One gay man, the last time he engaged in the twisted stuff with another man was 2 hours ago. He's still wiping his mouth. The other gay man who's 60 years old, the last time he did something was 39 years ago when he was 21 years old. Which one is less gay or more gay? They both gay. It don't mean you have to be doing stuff every single day. What are you? What are you? It's not about frequency. It's not about, well, this was a long time ago. What are you in your heart? What are you? Time has nothing to do with it. You commit a murder. Under man's law, they're going to bring you to so-called justice. There's no time period that, well, this passed by, so we can't touch them. The same thing goes on a spiritual level, that proximity, and even on an actual basic level of human behavior. People do not forget how you made them feel, right? People don't forget. You do something to a little child, 20 years go by, you're that man who so-and-so and so-and-so. So you have to be careful what energy you throw out to the universe. You have to be careful because that's the same energy waiting for you to come back around. And it will get you, even if it takes 39 years, even if it takes 40 years. It's going to come back and get you. It's going to come back and bite you. I've seen it time and time and time and time again. So this is why I stay in my lane. This is why I do not try to be something that I'm not. And whatever task I have ahead of me, I'm humble enough to say, you know what? Let me get this done. Let me be happy in the fact that this is what I'm supposed to do, and I'm not going to change any way away from it, right? So, back to my parents. The memories, the time they spent with me to invest in me, if there was something that I wanted to try, even if I didn't feel I was going to go follow through all the way, they fully supported me. And even when it seemed like I wasn't interested in that thing anymore, they would say, it's okay, son. This is what you have to equip yourself in life with. You have to have this, right? This is something that you need in your life so that you can have the experience to say, I know what this is all about. Even if you don't master it all the way, you had that experience. This is what you need. This is what we must do for you. And so now when I talk to people and I vibe with people and I realize that there's so many things I can talk about because of the energies that they shared with me, I can't help but even in this day in May of 2021 say to them and out to the universe, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because they will make sure that certain doors open. When other doors close, other doors open. And that has been my life. So I don't worry about if the door is going to open or not. It's going to open. Because when you have the right stuff in your heart, you can't be denied. LanceScurv out, on to the next one. Much love to my sisters. Salute to my warrior brothers. I look forward to a wonderful weekend. Every step I take, I will share it with you. There'll be lots of good content coming. And I'm just so enthusiastic about life. I'm so happy. And the main thing with Scurv Media Studios is that we are 100% independent. 100% independent. And I'm so happy for the support that you have afforded me and us on this team. independent as far as the mainstream media and anybody dictating to me what I need to say. No. And on this whole platform, we allow ourselves to vibe righteously, uncensored. The contact information is below if you have any interviews that you want to do or any people of interest that you know. And I really want to say, let's extend ourselves to those who are older and elders. So elderly, or the elders doesn't always mean elder. But we have so many people in our midst who have such wisdom that they can share. We can take our phone and record them and share their wisdom. Too often we throw away those who are up in the 90s and past 100 and 110. That's our gold. That's our silver. Those are our valuables. The chain around your neck is not worth anything more so than them. An afternoon spent with them can teach you more than the afternoon watching YouTube tutorials or documentaries. That's where it's at. Anyway, it's about to rain right now. I got to head out of here. I'm going to talk about that. Maybe I'll talk about that on the live when I get inside. But I had to come out here and speak about this and share this. Thank you, my dear parents. LanceScurv Sr., O.C. May Johnson Scurvin. You're my parents. I love you. I'm going to keep on. I have the baton, and I'm going to keep on running harder. And there's nothing that can get in my way that will ever stop me, because we'll steamroll them like we always do, righteously. Much love to you all. On to the next one. Peace.
Who put this thing together? Me! That's who! Who do I trust? Me!